Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another live stream recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, June 6th. We're kind of working our way towards E3. I've got a E3 template I'd like to show somebody if anybody gets on chat and wants to give me some feedback. Unfortunately, I cannot seem to get a break with any notifications from YouTube anymore. It's just not happening. So we've got a challenger friend and 50, so the thing I should trade is the 50. So we need to play Divine Shield minions and challenger friend. Gonna be kind of hard to challenge a friend on the Asian account, but we'll try to add some random people. We also have the Tavern Brawl. It's kind of a good thing right now that I have probably more to do today than normal, because there is a ton of news, even more than usual. It seems like there's a lot of people trying to get news out before E3. Encounter at the crossroads under a Maelstrom. Choose a class, get random cards. Each card you cost are randomized. Well, if we need to play Divine Shield, then we play Paladin. Cards, I would assume. I played a little bit more of Borderlands 2. I'm now getting into the groove of it, and I'm liking it a lot better. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I just 9 minutes ago tweeted Steam Games saying, "I love your new no censorship policy. Would you kindly buy YouTube and implement the same policy there?" Because they have come out and said, at least from the headlines, I honestly, admittedly, haven't read the articles yet. I was waiting for the stream. They've come out and said, no, we're not going to censor anything except for trolling and illegal products, which is kind of what they were only doing anyways. The assumption there is that this is them literally also saying that they're not going to stop direct pornographic video games from being released on Steam anymore, because there was this nebulous pornography rule that was there, and Honey Pop and Mutiny and the like, those sex visual novels, were not falling, I think, directly under that category.
This one turned out nice.
I'm not sure where the line is. Nobody ever really is sure where the line is for pornography. I guess inherently pornography, by one definition, is 100% designed around sex scenes, and so if there's even my broad definition would say if there's even one scene where you're not having a sex scene in the game, it can't be classified as pornography. At least that's where I would have drawn the line. But it's an impossible line to draw, certainly, and it always has been. And that's why it always boiled down to the ridiculous, I'll know it when I see it.
Dungeon reeks of magic. Delightful.
Cast each spell you cast on your minions. In this one, well, I haven't cast any spells at all. Let's see.
Follow the rule.
Oh, apparently I was gonna win just by playing cards. Well, that was easy enough. So that is how I'm taking it right now, is that rule is gone, plus I assume some of their other rules are gone. And inherently, I still would have liked to see a way to flag some very low effort games and as at least trolling, and maybe the definition of trolling will just get ever expanded to include some extremely low effort games. But Discovery 2.0, I've said it so many times, seems like it works, that it stops being a concern that there's bad games on Steam. Like, the only people are basically me and Jim Sterling and anybody else who's watching every single game come out. And see it's kind of weird because like active shooter just got taken off Steam, and I'm not sure how much of this had to do with other news about the Steam Link just not being approved on the Apple Store. Okay, so we just played somebody. Let's see if we can try to add them as a friend so we can challenge a friend. And meanwhile, let's see if we can have a Divine Shield deck. Like, the kind of worst case scenario today would be it for me to might as well try and get ranked wins while we're playing Divine Shield on Wild. Yeah, me getting all of this done really early while there's tons of news might be an issue. Let's see, Gamatsu has an article, Jake Hunter, detective story, Prism in the Eyes, opening movie. Normally I'd look at this a little bit more. It's a PS4 and Switch game from Arc System Works, according to the tags at the bottom. It's expected August 9th in Japan for the PS4 and Switch. According to the center of the article, I don't want to see that trailer though. So let's watch the trailer and see. Like, I do kind of want to get on the hype train for games and know what they're about, at least usually. And so trailers often are the easiest way to get a visual feel of what they're aspiring to, even if it's not what the game actually looks like. This game, interestingly, looks like a straight up targeted to older adults crime story anime manga. It has a very hard edge pencil sketch animation to it. No magical girls here, no high school kids. These are adults, and you every now and then in anime, like maybe one a season, maybe one a year, you'll get in something that is totally just focused at adults, and it's always nice to see.
Let me think.
Arguably, maybe the balance should be a lot higher than that, but they don't sell very much. Anime in general is very fad based, so unless something becomes super popular,
This beast will not be tamed.
you can't start a trend there. Yeah, but that trailer didn't show me anything, so moving on. So for the most part, the reason we're still mostly dealing with kids is because Astro Boy was a kid cartoon, and the reason there was a kid cartoon because Mickey Mouse was a kid cartoon. Moving on, there's a game on Steam called Empty Town. It says it's a 3D VR horror shooting game. So you're walking around and it looks like you're walking around a department store and mannequins are crawling towards you and attacking you. That in itself isn't a terrible idea. It looks kind of like a horror game. They could have been something, but the polish is kind of missing.
Not on my watch.
Let's see.
Repent.
Hit this one.
Join
Hit
or
this one.
die.
Hit that one.
Repent.
Kill that one. Let's see. Empty Town is in traditional Chinese, German, and Russian, but not Japanese. So this tells me this probably is a cheap Chinese attempt at something that looks like a Japanese horror and an Asian horror in general. $14.99, no discount. One positive review where the guy got it for free. And, well, frankly, it's a VR game. And they've made nothing else, so let's... Empty Town is missing the quality control to make me have faith in it. Let's see if this is an explosive trap.
Job's done.
Yep. That's gonna kill 3 of my guys, leaving 2. Moving on, PC Gamer has an article. Blizzard is working on a new unannounced Diablo project. Multiple job listings confirm that Big Red is coming back. Here's the thing. There's a few different ways you could mess up a release of a new Diablo game, but I'm not sure. I really don't have a complete lack of confidence in Activision Blizzard to do it. If they tried to make Diablo a MMO, I don't think it works there. They tried to do some of that with the marketplace in Diablo 3, and it really didn't work. It would be fine, I suppose, if they had somewhere as much as 16-player co-op in the game, but that does not make it immediately an MMO either.
Job's done.
The storyline is for Diablo has always been exactly the same, so it's kind of worn out. You can't really do anything new there. You can introduce some more Lords of Hell and then have Diablo show up again. You can move the time frame for Diablo a little bit in the future, but I don't think you want to go so far into the future that people have guns, or are in the future and they have laser guns. I don't think that is what people want. So I kind of have more confidence in a new Diablo game than I do most other things. We have Kakagobo on the chat, says, hello Rydo, what about Vampire? I've seen 1, maybe 2 reviews of Vampire. There seems to be kind of a it's alright feeling with it. I think I have some reviews in my pile of articles to cover. It's a better way to tell a vampire story by having a doctor become a new vampire instead of some coming in and you are Dracula, Lord of all vampires, or a fully learned vampire. And then there's kind of this system in it where you can talk to people and get to know them, and then whenever you eventually drink the blood of those people, you'll get more experience. Getting more experience, I think, unlocks some talent abilities. And see, we only have a challenger friend now, and that's gonna be weird. And so while we're waiting for somebody to come online, I'm going to just play some regular ranked play. We really are at the point where I need to rebuild all of these and build them into something I feel like is better, but for the moment I'm going to stick with Murloc Paladin. There's, I think, with some criticism on the voice acting in Vampire, there's some criticism that it was a little bit like a Telltale game, and if you're burned out on Telltale games, you're not going to like it. It doesn't seem like there's much of an action gameplay mechanic or anything like that. It is from the creators of the same people who made Life is Strange, Don't Nod. So that's a little weird too, and I'd probably heard that and forgotten it. But once I heard it again, I'm like, how can the creators of Life is Strange move on to make Vampire? Now, arguably, I'd say they probably are doing better to make a vampire game than they were to make a game about an American teenage girl, or a few American teenage girls in the two Life is Strange games, because Don't Nod is run by two Canadian grown men, and I think they are closer to telling a tale about a vampire than they are Life is Strange. I'm not sure Vampire is a fully fleshed out release either. I wouldn't be surprised if it was episodic. So I need more information. Keko Gambo said, nice. Do you stream in any other place than YouTube? Right now I have kind of a hidden Twitch account that's mostly just for backup. When these videos go up, they will upload as whatever those are called on Twitch. Premieres, past premieres, not broadcasts, I don't think they're called that. These videos do go to my Twitch account. I'm still working on a calendar that would set off alarms so people could follow a calendar and get notifications, since YouTube is just not doing notifications anymore and isn't trustworthy. I'm still working to get that to work correctly, and once I got that working correctly, I was going to update my social links in the description to also...
Whether you're a couple that likes movies, have kids that use all your bandwidth, or have a jet-setting brother you call every day, you need Spectrum. Get the best home services with Spectrum TV, 100 megabits internet, and voice for $29.99 a month, each with no contracts. Click to learn more.
What in the world was that? Apparently I just get audio ads now. I don't even know how to mute that. That was insane.
The light dims,
and that's gonna keep happening. Let me see. That might have been part of my other thing. So let me double check.
Quickly.
I'm setting up to stream to E3. So here's what I'm working on E3. And I have a schedule on the lower right that's streaming, but that didn't do anything, and that's not doing anything, and that's not doing anything.
How long can this go on?
So it is the audio for the browser. Let's see, speakers. See if I'm messing up the audio. I probably am.
Let me think.
I'll even mute Borderlands 2. Mute that. And I guess I can just mute all the other things.
I wonder.
Okay, how are we now?
I must move quickly.
The audio still seems like it is working.
Let me think.
Your magic shall not save you.
repent.
So hopefully I fixed that. Weird. I don't even know what else to do. So yeah, Don't Mod's a weird case with Vampire anyways, because I like Life is Strange, didn't bother to play Boars Before the Storm. I don't think you're allowed to stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So, as I understand it, I'd be in violation of whatever rules. I mean, I'm not sure I really care if I'm in violation of the rules if I stream to both. And then I don't really know any other service that is a big enough audience to stream to. So if somebody is going to suggest something like YouTube or some other streaming service, it is like the eyes are just not there. If everybody did decide to go somewhere different, that would be great, because everybody knows everybody hates YouTube, but it doesn't work unless the normal people, the people that don't bother to comment, the people who just randomly watch my videos, unless those people are also there. It's a little funny that since we through job listings know that there's a new Diablo game coming in development, and it must be in early development if it's from job listings, pre-production type of work.
I will fight with honor.
There's a element there of waiting till the next BlizzCon, at least until there's really an announcement, because Activision Blizzard really isn't going to move its announcements from BlizzCon. If anybody has any suggestions of other places to stream, I will certainly look at that, but because I certainly want to get my videos in front of the eyes of people who want to see it. But a lot of the systems just don't have enough people to make sense. A lot of the new people that try to replace YouTube don't have any kind of concept at all as far as making making it profitable, like, at all. So, like, if there's this new service that's supposed to replace Facebook called Privy, based around privacy, but it requires a subscription, and the vast majority of people on Facebook are not going to pay some kind of annual fee or monthly fee or whatever to do Facebook. They just will not pay in money. So if there was a similar service for streaming videos where you had to pay actual subscription fee or something like that, the vast majority of people won't do it. YouTube Red is a good example of that. I imagine only 10, maybe 20% of all people on YouTube are paying for YouTube Red. Plus, YouTube Red is also a confusing product that is bundling things that people probably don't want with things people do want. Let's see, this game from June 5th, Ghoul, has a negative rating, 16% of 12 user reviews. They're giving a positive. It says it's an action, indie, sexual content, gore, horror. It actually looks pretty good on the trailer, so why does Ghoul have such a bad rating? It's French, English, German, Spanish, it's a bunch of languages, 1999. What is going on? Let's see. First not recommended review says a good looking horror game, maybe some jump scares. I don't like to give negative reviews, but almost nothing happens. If it doesn't even create the atmosphere of fear, the graphics are really outdated, which I usually surpass, or I guess he means overlook, when it's an indie game. But when there's nothing awful English voice acting and subtitles. Interesting. It's very interesting to see a game like Ghoul that looks like a good product to then be told actually no, it's not a good product. Guess I want to play this first.
For justice. For me.
Let's see. Because it's just not what I'm seeing. In fact, I'm not sure what I'm seeing is even really the game. Maybe these are just stolen screenshots. We don't see that very often. But if I was to just look at this game in a bubble, I would have wishlisted it. But no, its soundtrack is even free, which I'm not sure how much that really matters. As somebody who's not a fan, particularly of listening to video game soundtracks, I'm not sure it adds too much to anything to have a free soundtrack on a game, and I don't think I'd ever buy a soundtrack on a game. But I think ideally I would want to get the soundtrack for every video game for free, just for that 1 out of a million case. The Cat Lady is a great example of that. I want the soundtrack for the Cat Lady, but that's kind of my 900 plus games that I purchased or have on Steam. That's probably the only game that I want. Maybe also I could get... Oops, play that out of the way. I could get something like the Portal soundtrack. That would kind of make sense too. Alright, moving on though, we've got a lot of news. Kamasutra has an article, Get a Job, Funcom is looking for an animation programmer. That's in Durham, North Carolina. Any job listings in particular are going to be easy to run through, so I'm going to move through them as quickly as possible. We have a game on Steam called Dark Case The Basement, and the graphics look a lot worse in this than they do for the game Ghoul. This seems very bendy in its animation. Bendy. I don't know a good way to describe that. It's like not enough curves, not enough things to, like the hair has no strands of hair in it for the character. Not enough detail. Smoothed over detail, I guess, would be a good way to describe it.
Reporting for duty.
They also are giving away free keys to streamers for this. There's a not recommended review that says this game is basically a bad version of Five Nights at Freddy's, and I would agree for that too. Like, I don't think I'd ever take anybody up on the offer for free keys to streamers. I'm not sure I'd take up anybody on the offer for free keys for any reason. It's just not how I want to play games, frankly. I'd like to play a game all the way to the end, even if it's a crazy long game like Borderlands 2 with all the DLC. So getting keys and being in the cycle of needing to spend just an hour on a game to get a video out on Twitch as soon as that game is new, it's just not what I want to do. I actually want to play a game towards the end, and well, that was the Challenge a Friend. So we're getting to a nice point for the next expansion too. Really don't have anything else to do, but I suppose we'll just switch over to the Asian account. Well, no, that was the Asian account. We'll switch over to the European account automatically. And let's just double check the audio is still going to work. Yeah, there's a lot of reviewers out there that don't play games to the end, and then they write reviews, and then they give it a 7.5 when it probably should have been a 2, or maybe it should have been a 10. Looks like the audio is working. So do we have anything we want to trade here? We have a 60 and a 60 for Druid and Warrior class cards. I don't see a real reason to switch either one of those. Let's play Warrior and go. Next game we have on Steam is called Infinity Challenge. It looks like an attempt at an F-Zero racing game with hover vehicles. There's a lot of asset flipping on the ground in the animation. It's $1.99, so it just doesn't look high enough quality for me to want to play it. So I'm gonna close that tab. Next game we have is called Ludicrous Speed. It's a crazy looking game where I think this is an infinite runner with a lot of spikes and fireballs and things just everywhere, and you're constantly running and jumping and trying to avoid a large amount of things. Seems like you're also playing it with VR, which is gonna lead to motion sickness. Yeah, it requires a VR headset. It's $6.99, and it's gonna make you motion sick. Not only by the crazy amount of speed in it, but also by the very bright neon lights. I'd be surprised if you'd be able to get through 3 levels of that game. So we can close that. We have a game called Stone Shard Prologue.
I live to serve the Lich King.
Oh, I forgot that the cost of these cards randomly changed, so I could have kept the more expensive ones. Stone Shard Prologue is a free-to-play hack and slash not JRPG, but just RPG.
I curse them all.
The animation looks a little bit better than your standard RPG Maker game, and it's free. Support the game on Kickstarter, so I don't know how much really to take from that. There's a rather high number of positive reviews, 46 versus 4 negative ones.
Defensive systems online.
By his will.
Let's see. Let's see. We have a not recommended review saying it was free, so I installed it, but it was just awful. And we have one that says that first floor had nothing but liches. Oh, second floor, or a specific random run had nothing but liches. I will applaud this game for being a more zoomed in camera appearance and an attempt to make an RPG a bit more of a fast experience compared to what I've seen.
By his will.
For other. Let's kill this one. I don't know what any of these guys are gonna do. I have a feeling that Stone Shard Prologue is a demo for Stone Shard. Yes, and I just saw that they've got it. And Stone Shard does look like an 8-bit pixel version of kind of a Diablo game, and now that we've heard that the new Diablo game is in the work, I would really warn people against burning themselves out on lesser quality products. there's really nothing wrong with Stone Shard or Stone Shard Prologue, particularly since the prologue is free and probably just for the most part an advertisement and an alpha for the finished product. It is a Kickstarter product, so that also might be a good reason to stay away from it. I'm not going to bother to wishlist it though. RPGs are going to really have to do something amazing to catch my attention. Next game we have on Steam is called the Humans Collection, which seems like it might be a Lemmings game. It says it's an adventure strategy simulation, and you're playing as like a caveman, and it looks like you're platforming and flinging yourself with a spear to jump.
I wonder.
Let's see. Place this. This.
You want?
And this.
Job's done.
Watching the trailer, it doesn't look like it's a Lemmings game in the regular sense. It seems like it's more of a platformer where you're controlling a lot of different copies of the same caveman. 15% off for $5.09, and I'm not seeing anything. The one review here says, "This is the old MS-DOS game that I loved as a kid, and it's all there. The only problem is the game is so slow. When moving the characters, they move so slow, but the rest of the program is running fine. Time, music, and cutscenes. As of now, I can't recommend this because you have to make it through a level at this time, but with a fix, I will change that." That's at 6/5/2018. So this is like a PC port that's been ported pretty badly.
None shall.
Stop poking me.
And let's see, what else has this company ported or sold? 3 other games, like Prophecy 1, The Viking Child, King's Table, The Legends of Ragnarok, and Demon's Gate, none of which I've ever heard of. Nor have I heard of the Humans Collection. The publisher published, like, a handful of other games, none of which have been rated, nor do I recommend. Do I see anything there? Ocean Classics Volume 1 would probably be the closest thing I know. Pushover, I believe, is the ant pushing game that I played when I was a kid, yes. So, yeah. Apparently these are really old games that most people probably wouldn't bother to ever play. It's really hard to, even for me, knowing how bad those games were back in the day when they were MS-DOS games. It's really hard for me to even have some nostalgia there to even dare to think about going back and playing them. Even for some historical retrospective, there's nothing there. Nothing really worth discussing. Next game we have on Steam is called Good Pizza, Great Pizza. It's a pretty looking pizza game. It says it's an indie casual simulation game. I wonder if this is going to just be a cook, serve, delicious type game, except for yeah, it looks like it's a cook, serve, delicious type game. I still have a complaint about games that are just jobs. But Good Pizza, Great Pizza looks good. It's translated into a lot of languages. Says it's E for everyone. Early access $14.99. That seems like that was way too high of a price. It has 2 positive reviews, which don't mean anything. See, the problem with making a game like this is it's just been done so many times before, and it's been done poorly so many times before. It's close to impossible to make an argument for
Something needs
like
tinkering?
an argument for even playing the good version. And this game, Good Pizza Great Pizza, is from a developer who hasn't made anything else. So even though this would probably be the best pizza making game I've ever seen on Valve, it's still probably not one I'd be willing to spend any time on, because you are still inherently just doing a job and not getting paid. And I don't really have a reason why I would want to do that. I'm already doing that, you would argue, with YouTube. Next game we have on Steam is called Shape of the World. It has a surreal art style. It seems like it says it's a surreal adventure walking simulator. Casual indie. It looks pretty, but if it's just a walking simulator, that's a hard sell. I don't know why people make walking simulators when they should just make they should call them movies and just make movies. Shape of the World is 15% off for $11.04, which is a pretty high price for a walking simulator. Does have like 24 positive reviews and no negative reviews, but that's too much. Really is too much, and this first game from this developer, so moving on. Next is one that cannot be overlooked, and just by the name alone has to be put in my wish list. Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, is now on Steam. It's mostly positive, 70% of the 10 users. Shaq Fu is a side-scrolling, I think it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up game. I don't know if this is a remake of the original Shaq Fu. I don't think it is. The graphics don't look. They don't look like that. Yeah. They're too good to be a remake of something. $19.99. This is kind of a niche, a niche game though, so it's a pretty high price for a game that may not be that good. The first review says, as a $100 Indiegogo backer, we were promised many features such as local multiplayer, multiple characters, which none were in the final game. My name is not on the backer credits, as well as with multiple people listed in the wrong category. I can't recommend the game at all. Compared to the first Shaq Fu game, this is actually playable and very good, but as it stands on its own in its current year, it's nothing more than an overplayed joke. I have only played through the first 2 stages of the story mode, and the combat has become very repetitive and dull. Combat in the game consists of running around, smashing the square X button to do sloppy let's keep on playing. Do sloppy filling jabs and sometimes pressing circle or B to deal a special move, and it goes on from there. Next not recommended review says, as much as I love this game as a meme, as a video game for the price of $20, it ain't worth it. So this is kind of a game I need to follow, but also I need to make sure not to actually spend that kind of money on it. This is a game I probably, if other people are getting bored with it, I would probably get bored with it. But having Shaquille O'Neal in your game gives it at least enough appearance to deserve being shown. Although, in all honesty, if I just wait long enough and see other people play the game and see how bad or good it is from that, I could also see myself ignoring that. Just gonna play this, I guess. Next game we have on Steam is Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. I saw the giant bomb quick look of this game, and it seems like it is a much better introductory experience with like fewer buttons and fewer combos to have to learn to play a Arc Systems Works game. So if you've never played any of the other Blaze Blue games, this is probably a good one to play, and that includes me. It also, though, has a weird system of them trying to sell a lot of DLC for different characters from like Ruby and other expansions. Let's play this. Play that in the turn. So while you can get the basic edition for $49.99, which probably is a little too expensive for any fighting game, you really need to get the deluxe edition that includes the game and DLC characters all in one pack for $69.99, so $70. Otherwise, you're going to have to dance around a plethora of different characters to get everything. Let's see, is there any negative reviews? There's quite a few negative reviews for this game. Let's one not recommended says it's an awful PC port. Just play this, I guess.
This is going to be amazing!
That's incredible.
The next not recommended says support is absolutely dreadful. Wait, the next one says wait until the patch is out. Next one says just another terrible PC port from another Japanese developer that refuses to beta test or optimize the game before PC release. Seems pretty consistent though. So yeah, that Japanese companies do have a tendency to release some pretty bad PC ports. That is also kind of the case for some Western developers also, but Japanese companies in particular are pretty bad at doing that.
Job done.
I still have to put Blaze Blue in my wishlist, but I probably wouldn't buy it until it was a lot cheaper. Next game we have on Steam is called Crypt Crawler. That's K-R-Y-P-T, no space, C-R-A-W-L-E-R. Which, with a name like that, you kind of know it's a dungeon crawler game. The question is it a good dungeon crawler game? Is it a VR game? It's suffering from dark screenshot syndrome. It's in English and German. Again, was there some law passed in the, like, GDPR that I was just not aware of that demands everything be in German now? Because if that's the case, that's gonna really suck.
The end is coming. That's incredible.
That's gonna suck for small developers. The game is 20% off for $6.39. Apparently it doesn't require VR. There's no reviews of the game, and I'm not seeing a lot here that makes me want to trust it. The only thing I can say is that the developer is Crazy Bunch, which is also the developer of the new Leisure Suit Larry game Wet Dreams Don't Dry, and a game called Relaxing VR Mahjong, which is weird combination of 3 games. And the publisher is Head Up Games, which published a few things: Bridge Constructor Portal.
What? They fell off a truck.
Let's see. What else did they release? The game In Between. I think I have that one wishlisted. Bridge Constructor, the regular Bridge Constructor game. Not a lot of other things that are really noticed. They have a lot of games that they published, but nothing super noticeable. So I don't see anything with Crypt Crawler to make it seem like it's any better than anything. If anything, in the trailer I don't see any enemies, so I don't know if you actually are fighting anything.
Greetings, friend.
Usually you'd see a skeleton or something that would give you some kind of indication.
Engaging TC-130 mental dislocator.
There we go.
That's incredible.
So let's close Crypt Crawler. Don't have a lot of time. Next game we have is a game called The Great Story of a Mighty Hero Remastered. The graphics look good. They are kind of small and a little low polygon. I don't know if this is art style, if this is like potentially a port from a cell phone game. Seems like it's a skeleton knight that has other skeletons follow you. Says it's an action RPG indie with hack and slash. And then it says it's an ironic hack and slash RPG, both filled with blood and gore. Go through the wall of enemies and defeat the mighty evil to become the mighty hero. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So this for the most part looks like a hack and slash dungeon crawler, and it also is somewhat suffering from dark screenshot syndrome. It's only in English. It's $3.99. It says it's a parody RPG, which I don't know what inherently makes this look like a parody RPG. Let's see. I think the thing that kills this game is that there's only one other game made by this developer, but then the other game that they've made is something called a Lumber Island That Special Place, which is a adventure horror first-person psychological horror game, and it is rated mostly positive, 78% of 46 users, and it was released in 2015. And the fact that they've taken their time to release their second game makes me kind of say, let's be generous. Let's be generous and wishlist both of those games, and consider them for purchase at some point in the future. Right now, the Steam Summer Sale is still very much nothing's changed. I'm of the opinion that I'll be buying pinball expansions, the pro packs for Pinball Arcade, because the licenses are leaving on June 30th, and nothing else. Which really isn't going to hurt me. I have more than enough games on Steam on my account to cover me for another year. And buying games during the summer sale is not a process that is buying new games. It's a process that is buying old games. If people want me to cover new games, then I need them to either gift me the game or give me gift cards and tell me which games they are super hyped for. And I would say the video game player base, real people that play games, not just the reviewers that pretend like they're real gamers, because the real normal gamers, I suppose, they may be real gamers, they're just not normal gamers. My point being there is, I think the player base of video games have gotten a lot better about not getting hyped on games. That we've all kind of matured as a culture, and we're not gonna fall for things like we used to. Next game we have is called Blacksmith Simulator. It looks alright, but it's just one of these simulator games where you're doing a job. It looks like it's a similar way like Moonlighter, but I think you'd be probably better off playing Moonlighter, and even at that I don't recommend Moonlighter. I just don't think there's enough there. Let's see. Okay. This. And then we do this. And in return, and I'll probably lose. Next game we have on Steam is just called Daddy. What is this? It says it's an indie. You have to find your daddy is the only description. Seems like you're playing as a baby. And the baby is getting TNT and axes and knives and crowbars and making tripwires. It seems like the baby is in this story of what I assume these are kind of asset flips. He is attacking other people that have kidnapped your father as a baby, and you're picking up a gun and shooting people. Druid cards are what I need to play, right? I just looked and wasn't paying enough attention. Yeah. Druid cards still need a victory too. So yeah, this is an asset flip meme kind of troll game. It is polished enough, however, to be playable. It's 23% off for $2.30. Let's see. The one review says full release plays like an alpha build, similar in quality to the alpha builds of Hello Neighbor. Several textures are missing, lighting and shadows are messy, view bob is excessive, no sneak mechanic, you can't interact with many objects. So yeah, more and more we're starting to see that there are games out there where they can definitely look like they are good products, just because of the Unity store and the Unreal store, and not really have a lot of work on it. The developer that made this game also made a game called Grandpa, so I assume the next game would be called Son, or Brother, maybe? It seems to me like this is kind of the exact same type of game.
What to do?
They've just made the exact same game a second time, and the publisher that's publishing it is let's see. Let's play this. It did take him between April 2018 and June 2018 to release the 2 games, so you can also see that they took a little bit of time, but not a realistic amount of 2 or 3 years to release different games. Moving on, next game we have on the game on Steam is called Queen of the Seas 2. This looks like it's probably an old game being re-released, like an old PC game. Either that or this is just a really badly programmed and animated games. See, the weird thing is you'd have to really go out of your way to make a game that looks like a MS-DOS game, and it not take a lot more work than what you could do to make a game that looks like Daddy. It's 35% off for $3.89. Let's see. Queen of the Seas won the Apra Culture Public Contest and was funded by the Brazilian Ministry of Culture. So it's a Brazilian grant game, which I understand the idea of Brazil wanting to have a larger industry of video game programmers, but a lot of issues are prevalent here of the game not really being up to modern standards. Yeah, nothing here says this is an old game. This seems pretty obviously like it is a new game in an old retro style, and I don't like when you look at it that it looks like something that you would have, most people would have done as a first year project in a college level computer programming. I remember reading computer programming books that would hand out assets that looked like this and trying to program things like this. And this is Queen of Seas 2, so there was already Queen of Seas 1 in 2007, so they're getting a grant for a sequel. Sounds like it's probably wasting the government's money, but I'll leave that for the people of Brazil to decide, I suppose. Draw 3 cards.
The show.
Interesting little stutter there. Next game we have is a Japanese word and then a colon, and it says a conundrum, a compendium of ghosts. Let's see, it's only in Korean, so it's not. It's probably not even a Japanese one. So it's a Korean only game. We don't need to worry about that one. So we'll close that tab. And we've got 5 Druid cards have been played, and we've already done everything on the Asian, and we're halfway done with everything on the European account, and it's been an hour. So we're in a real weird position because, yeah, I've got a ton of news, and I think if I just get everything done, I don't know how we're gonna get all the news done, because the one thing I probably don't want to have happen is throughout the weekend when E3 is happening, have me cover news for games that came on Steam. I might be sorting through those and looking at them, but I think it would be very annoying for me to talk about new games on Steam while a press conference is going on and I'm supposed to be listening to them and maybe taking some notes. So in theory, I should probably get everything done today. In practicality, maybe we won't find a way to do that, but we'll see. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below on the description box. And if you want to support me even further, friend me on Steam and gift me a game or a gift card. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.